From the Beyond Unreasonable Doubt Studios, in association with Feitner Productions, it's Lay Down the Law! With your host, Billy DeClercq.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that's right, Billy, that's you. Featuring Henry David, Kristen Denning, and Kelli Johnson. Only a madman would dare to bring these people together to build a world of law and order, only to tear it apart with laughter. That madman is attorney Billy DeClercq. The result is a podcast blasted to the farthest reaches of the internet. That podcast is this one, and it starts right now.
Welcome to Laying Down the Law, Earmark Edition, the law and comedy podcast hosted by me, the metaphorical DQ blizzard you get when you combine Richard Pryor and Ted Cruz Esquire. I'm Billy DeClercq. Let's introduce my three guests today. First, a returning guest. He's an actor, improviser, and writer. He's a proud alum of UC Riverside, whose mascot is either a giant orange named Norm T. Navel, or he's a confused California bear wearing a Highland kilt, Scotty the Bear. This guest is also a member of the indie improv team Rave Propellers. He is Henry David.
Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That was a great introduction. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We can end the podcast right now. We're going to just stop. We're going to end on a high note. Next, another member of the indie improv team Rave Propellers. She originally hails from the burgeoning metropolis known as Bakersfield, Bakersfield, California, and has since moved far, far away to the land of milk and honey, aka the Valley. She's a writer and comedian, and if she were a 1990s quirky sitcom guest star, she'd be known for her wacky catchphrase, "Yeah, but at least it's a dry heat." Welcome, Kelli Johnson.
Wow, thank you. I couldn't have written that better myself.
Finally, she's an Austin-based storyteller and improviser whose favorite color is green. She can be found in the immediate vicinity of Congress Avenue Bridge, home to North America's largest urban bat colony any night of the week. Welcome, Kristen Denning.
Thank you, and also thank you, Henry, for basically writing that for me.
Oh,
Well, I'm thrilled to have all of you on the show, but first, a word from our sponsor. And we're back. Who's ready to get into it?
oh, God, please, let's do this. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's been jonesing for some
I
sweet,
know.
sweet legal improv.
All right, it's just
All right. Well, this case is a business case. It's called Eisenberg versus Flying Tiger Line Inc. It's arising out of the Second Circuit in 1971. The Second Circuit is the East Coast, like Delaware type of area. And actually, this is a Delaware corporation, which is why it is in the Second Circuit.
Eisenberg, you said.
What did I say?
No, I'm asking.
Eisenberg.
Eisenberg, okay.
I believe I said, or is it Eisenberg?
No, I just
Eisenberg?
want to. Yeah, I just want to make sure I got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you
Eisenberg.
taking notes, Henry, or are you writing this down for the
Oh,
test?
He's studying for the bar exam.
No.
3 episodes of Laying Down the Law, and he's going to take the bar. That's what's rolling. That's what we're rolling here.
That's not
And I'm actually going to jump to the trivia part first because I went down an internet rabbit hole about Flying Tiger. Preparing for this podcast, I had work to do, and I was like, let's Google Flying Tiger and find out what it tells us. But apparently, the disappearance of Flying Tiger Flight 739, this happened well before 1971. All right, it happened during the Vietnam War. It had 107 passengers on board in 1962 as one of aviation's great mysteries. Apparently, it disappeared without a trace en route between Guam and the Philippines. It was ultimately headed to Vietnam. Apparently, some kind of a top secret flight. A tanker reported an explosion in the sky sometime around the time it disappeared off of the old radar, but there was never any trace found of the flight, despite an 8-day search and rescue operations. Now, there's a number of conspiracy theories surrounding the disappearance of Flying Tiger Flight 739, because apparently another plane left Travis Air Force Base in California around the same time and crashed around the same time. But there's absolutely no evidence for any conspiracy. Also, interestingly, none of the people who passed away, many of whom were soldiers related to the Vietnam conflict, are featured on the Vietnam Memorial because they weren't in active combat in Vietnam at the time of their disappearance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's just rude.
It feels really rude.
That's got nothing to do with this case at all, but it was sure interesting, and I spent a lot of time reading articles about it when I could have been doing literally anything else. Another interesting factoid, Flying Tiger was eventually purchased by FedEx in 1988. Ooh. So we have a bookend, 1962, 1988. But this case happens in 1971, and it falls in the area of a shareholder's derivative suit. Do you need me to explain what a shareholder derivative suit is?
I mean, I know, but it'd be great to hear it again.
I mean,
I would say it couldn't hurt for the listeners.
For the listeners, for other people.
At home.
You all know.
Or in their car.
I mean, I'm sure it's something we've all heard before, being as it's derivative, but
Yeah. It sounds derivative, but let's we'll breeze over it.
All right. The key issue in this case is whether or not it is in fact a derivative lawsuit. So a derivative lawsuit is a lawsuit that is based on or derived from the rights of the corporation. It's a shareholder that always brings it. So if you have, let's say you have 10 shares of Microsoft and you want to file a lawsuit against Bill Gates for mismanagement of Microsoft or something he did wrong, if you are a shareholder, you have this right to bring a derivative lawsuit in the name of the corporation. So the point is to assert rights that the corporation has against a member of the board or a director, an officer, to recover something for the entire corporation itself. And so the key question in this case is whether the beneficiary of the cause of action is the corporation, Flying Tiger Line Inc., or whether it's the individual shareholder, Eisenberg. That's the question that the Second Circuit was asked to decide.
And so like they're just wanting like Eisenberg to be like super altruistic, or there's no room for personal gain?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So if it's for something that just benefits Eisenberg or a small group of people like him, then it's going to be a direct action, not a derivative action, because he's bringing it to vindicate his own rights. And if it's to benefit the entirety of the corporation, for example, if you had a member of the board of directors who is stealing money from the cash register of a small corporation like a Subway or something, and a shareholder said, this director, he's not going to file a lawsuit because it's the corporation's right to this money. It belongs to all the shareholders, all of the owners equally. And so this claim benefits the entire corporation. That's a derivative suit. If it just benefits me as an individual shareholder and not the entire corporation, then it's going to be considered a direct suit. And so a lot depends, in this case, everything depends on whether the case is direct or derivative. You could characterize a derivative suit as altruistic. It's really not, in the sense that the shareholder who's bringing it is bringing it because he or she or they are trying to benefit themselves as shareholders in this corporation. Incidentally, all the other shareholders benefit, but their goal is for themselves.
So their goal is for him to put the money back into the drawer.
In that example, right. The goal is this person stealing money from the corporation. Let's get it back. It'll make all of us wealthier, including me because I'm a shareholder. This case, I drew all kinds of charts and bubbles and like strings connecting things to try and figure out what happened. But there's a series of corporate transactions. It's so fascinating, which explains why I went down the rabbit hole of the missing flight and whatnot. But there are essentially 4 steps of a corporate transaction that Flying Tiger Line does and that Eisenberg is complaining about. The bottom line, what he's complaining about is that he lost his voting power as a result of this series of transactions. So I'll explain this series of transactions. I'm kind of jumping out of order to make it make more sense. What happened in July of 1969, Flying Tiger Line Inc. formed a subsidiary that it owned. So another company, it held all the stock of it, this other corporation, and they named it in a dazzling display of creativity. They called it Flying Tiger Corporation.
Wow, really?
Really creative. So Flying Tiger Line Inc.
Shameless.
owns Flying Tiger Corporation. Okay. And then in August, the next month, Flying Tiger Corporation, the subsidiary, creates another subsidiary called FTL Air Freight Corporation. So you have Flying Tiger Line Inc., Flying Tiger Corporation, FTL Air Freight Corporation. And then in, I think, September, shortly thereafter, all three corporations then were collapsed and reorganized and merged into the newest one, FTL. FTL then became the only surviving corporation. And so there was a vote of the shareholders in September of 1969, and it passed by a 2/3 vote of the shareholders. So the original shares in the original company, Flying Tiger Line Inc. Oh, and then to make things more interesting / confusing / stupid, the remaining corporation, which had been called FTL Air Freight Corporation, renamed itself Flying Tiger Line Inc.
Oh.
And the point was so as not to confuse people.
That's okay. Yeah.
So you have subsidiary created, that subsidiary creates a subsidiary, then the third subsidiary creates another subsidiary, then the child eats the parent and the grandparent corporation, and then it takes the name of the grandparent and becomes the only survivor. And it was approved. So the original shares became shares in Flying Tiger Corporation, the middle one. And so essentially the plaintiff sued because he claimed that his vote had been diluted by this series of steps. He filed suit on behalf of himself and other, quote, similarly situated shareholders. He asserted that it was not a derivative claim. In a footnote, incidentally, Flying Tiger essentially says that the reason they did this was some kind of a tax benefit and to avoid government oversight from the Civil Aeronautics Board. That was the apparent reason. The court explains it doesn't matter. That's not the issue. That's not why we're here today. It doesn't matter why they had the reorganization, whether it had a good purpose or a bad purpose. The question is whether this lawsuit is derivative or direct. Why the big fight about whether it's derivative or direct? The lawsuit applied New York state law, and there's a rule that says in a derivative suit, if a shareholder holds less than 5% or $50,000 worth of stock, they must post a bond or security for the legal expenses of the corporation in the event they're unsuccessful. So if you're a very small shareholder, you have to put up money to sue the corporation if it's a derivative suit, but not if it's a direct suit.
I say so. He wants to avoid the that fee because he was diluted down to below 5% or $50,000.
Not because of the dilution, because he doesn't want to put up the money to file the lawsuit.
Right. But also, like, this feels like they don't really want people bringing derivative suits. It sounds like at all. Like,
Right.
It's really
Right.
prohibitive.
Right. Well, there's a really interesting policy behind this law that's in effect here, and I think that's a great question, a very law school-ish type of question to ask. The policy behind this law is that you don't want teeny tiny little shareholders messing with corporate transactions. Here you have, apparently it's a big enough deal that they spent the money and hired the lawyers to do 3 mergers and a name change in order to do some kind of tax benefit. This crazy corporate reorganization that probably cost plenty and was had some business justification. And here comes little old Eisenberg, the crank, and says, "You're diluting my voting rights. You stop." And the corporation's like, well, "We're trying to run a business here. You're telling us we can't do anything." So the concern is, if shareholders are able to sue about everything, they will sue about everything. So it's definitely a pro-corporation law. It's definitely against the little guy or gal in favor of the big corporation, the company, so that they can't be slowed down. And this whole area of law, they call them shareholder strike suits, because many times these type of lawsuits are filed for a strategic purpose. If you have a fight between a company where it's held by a small number of shareholders, you can have, they're called proxy fights or battles for control of the corporation that then spill over into the courtroom. And so you have like the controlling shareholders want to do one thing, and the minority shareholders want to do something else, and they can't work it out. And so they file a lawsuit saying you breached your fiduciary duty, or you breached your fiduciary duty.
I understand the gatekeeping function, but like, isn't there a better way to keep like spurious lawsuits out, like other than just like making them like astronomically expensive? Because then you're going to lose a lot of like meritorious claims, it feels like.
I think that's a great point, actually. I think that's a really interesting point. Like, you could imagine some kind of a procedure. You could file an early motion to show minimal merit. And it's funny you mentioned that, because in the state of California, the law is a little different. In the state of California, under Corporations Code 800, why do I know this random citation? Because I just wrote a brief about it. It's called a motion for a bond. And so the question is whether the lawsuit has minimal merit. Not merit like reasonable amount of merit, just minimal merit, that there's some indication that the lawsuit can benefit the corporation. If the shareholder can't show the lawsuit has minimal merit, that it could, if it's true, if what's alleged is true, if the shareholder can't show that, then they have to post a $50,000 bond, or it can be set by the judge. But they have a chance at the outset to show, and you bring the evidence, and the judge takes a look at it and says, I think this lawsuit's good, or I think this lawsuit's not good. So there's a different rule. In New York, the rule is doesn't matter whether it's a good lawsuit or a bad suit. If it's derivative, you put up the money.
Was this just at the time, though, or is it still the law in New York now, too?
Oof, I wish I knew the answer to that.
Well, get your briefs and your boxers.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me. Let's see. Maybe re-ask the question, then I'll pretend like I know it. This is podcasting.
I'm just trying to keep up with Kristen.
Yeah.
You
got two lawyers in here.
Yeah. Kristen, are you a lawyer too?
I try and tell people I'm not, but yes, I'm happy.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I watched.
Did you want to? Yeah, I don't know if you wanted that in or out, so I didn't mention it.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I don't take any particular pride in it, because I'm a terrible lawyer and try not to do it. But still, it's not like a secret necessarily.
I say keep it in.
So too. I think so too.
I was on a jury once, so feel free to ask me any questions.
What was that like?
Oh, amazing. I loved it. It was incredible. The bailiff would give us candy every day. I was an alternate, but then one juror fell asleep. So she got kicked off and I was on. It was right around the time, what's that show called that everyone was obsessed with? Making a Murderer came out. So I was like, I'm ready to be fair. I took copious notes. I loved it. We had 2-hour lunches every day. I literally don't know why people hate jury duty, because I think it's amazing.
What kind of case was it?
It was a criminal case.
Ooh.
There was kidnapping, and there were firearms, and it all happened at a Chevron.
Did you deliberate to a verdict?
Yeah, he was guilty. We found him guilty. Yeah, it was really sad.
Oh man.
His family was there. That's the thing too, is that afterwards, and they're like, okay, you're guilty, bye. You guys all walk out together. And it's like, okay, you all walk out to the same parking lot.
Oh God.
I'm really sorry about your family member. He seemed like a nice guy. I think he just, got caught up in some.
Got caught up in the moment.
He got caught up in some wrongdoing. I don't think he meant anything by it. He just technically kidnapped a man, but I'm sure he's out of prison now and doing great. Good behavior. It wasn't a huge kidnapping. It's like a technicality. He just asked a guy for money. The guy didn't give it to him, so then he took him inside the Chevron.
Wow.
At
Not
gunpoint.
closely related. Full
At
kidnapping.
ATM, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
What's that syndrome? Stockholm syndrome?
Mm-hmm.
Where you fall in love with your captors? Is that what it
Yeah.
is?
Like Patty Hearst.
Yeah.
I don't think the guy at Chevron fell in love with him. They weren't together that long. I think it was a pretty quick exchange.
Don't say no to love, Kelly.
Yeah,
You know.
fell in love with him.
But maybe. Anyways, but then I've only been summoned for jury duty one other time, and then they never even asked me to go. I kept calling the number, and they're like, "You don't have to report today." Then I never had a report, and I was like, "You guys don't understand. I love this." Like,
don't say you love it too much. You'll not end up on another jury. You're like, it's all right. It's all right. No, I'll never be on a jury. They'll never put me on.
Yeah. Same.
Can lawyers be on juries? I just assumed you couldn't.
Yeah.
You know too much. I think they want us dumb.
Usually plaintiffs' lawyers are the ones to kick the lawyers off.
One time I almost made it because it was like a very complicated like medical malpractice where there was like just like tons of different like liability, like chains of liability. And they wanted, because they thought maybe like I might be able to like help the jury like apportion out, like, you know, but then eventually I got booted right at the last minute. It broke my heart.
You got thanked and excused.
Well, the best part was that I was teaching at the time, and my classes were really mean. They were like so it was like a break from these like horrible 13-year-old kids that hated me anyway. And so like the case lasted like a week and a half, but I was really like, let's draw it out. Like, let's keep going. Bring in the witnesses. Like
I don't know. I just don't know about this.
I was like, actually, guys, we should really think about it. Like, someone's life is at stake here. Like,
we're gonna need to deliberate.
Should we look at the expert testimony again? Yeah, like, let's listen to the 911 call. Like, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
I think that's the premise of a Pauly Shore movie too, called Jury Duty. I think because he wants the $15 a day, and he just keeps.
Yes, you get money too. Like what? That's like incredible.
All the judges who are listening to the podcast, we need to have Kelly come in and convince everybody to be on a jury.
Oh my gosh, I would love that. I think it gets a bad rap, but it really is very fun.
It's power. It's a lot of power.
A Hershey's Kiss left on your seat after every little break. I mean, that's
classy.
Sweet.
That's
classy. Bailiff. It was yeah.
How do you know that's just not the defense lawyer trying to sweeten?
No, it was the bailiff. We all knew her. We were cool with her. We knew it was up. Yeah, we all had like a good rapport. We were like pals afterward.
Do you guys still go out for drinks every once in a while?
Yeah.
No, I don't know who those people are. Actually, one of the girls on the jury I went to high school with, so I could talk to her about it and see how she feels these days.
That's so random.
That is super cool.
It's Bakersfield people, so we all know each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Baskersfelds.
Yeah, the hounds of Baskersfelds.
All right, Kelly, ask me that question again about. Oh
yeah. Is that still the law in New York now? Or is that just then?
Oh, no, absolutely. It's section 627 of the New York Public Law, Security for Expenses in Shareholders' Derivative Action. Everybody knows that.
Oh, that was really impressive.
Yeah, I did not have to look that up and then have parts of this edited out.
I'm on tenterhooks already.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was like, what's going to happen? Is it derivative or is it direct? So Eisenberg did not post the security, and so his lawsuit got dismissed. He appealed, arguing that it was a direct and not a derivative lawsuit because his lawsuit was brought to prohibit the loss of his personal voting rights that belonged just to him. It was not on behalf of the corporation. It was not on behalf of all the shareholders, but it was a personal right. His own rights to vote had been diluted. And so the court gets into an analysis to figure out when is a case derivative and when is it direct. And I sort of previewed this. Whether the object of the lawsuit is to recover on a claim belonging directly to the stockholders or whether it's to compel the performance of corporate act which the directors are required to take, or perform a duty that they owe to the corporation and through the corporation to the stockholders. And so the Flying Tiger argued that it was not a duty to Eisenberg personally, it was a duty to the corporation and only derivatively to the stockholders. Essentially, the court says that would make all stockholder class actions effectively derivative. And here, they're not challenging a management decision. They're not challenging whether the merger and the collapsing and all that was a good idea or not, but simply his own personal claim. And so ultimately, the Second Circuit ruled that it was a direct and not a derivative claim, and they reinstated his lawsuit. But there's an interesting coda to this case. So the court says the reorganization deprived him and other minority stockholders of any voice in the affairs of their previously existing operating company. And then they say, the strongest string in Eisenberg's bow is one that he helped fashion when he made an investment some 40 years ago in Central Zone Property Corporation, and in 1942, that corporation, blah, 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 Eisenberg complained that this effectively deprived him of a voice in the operation of the company, which would be run in the future by the trustees of the voting trust. And the Court of Appeals agreed, citing Eisenberg versus Central Zone Property Corp., a 1953 case.
Whoa.
So Eisenberg is a legal baller because he got this case in 1952, which then gets cited almost 20 years later as the reason why he wins again.
So he used his own precedent?
His own precedent. Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder how often that happens. Like if there's like a bingo card that you like to check off a box at some point for that. He must be just like suing corporations like
I was just going to say that. Is this guy left and right just throwing him out there?
It seems to be his business. It says also in a footnote that he represented himself in this lawsuit. So
wow.
he is truly the OG grumpy old guy. I assume, I mean, if he had won another lawsuit 20 years earlier, he's probably pretty old. So I don't know if this was his hobby or if he just like, I don't know, he's just like to be a thorn in people's side, but definitely I get like an image as he's like the kind of person with a sign on his lawn that says, you know, pick up your dog poop and like does actually enforce it. You know, that's who I picture for this guy.
Oh yeah, you can imagine him being on like a homeowners committee or something and just being just absolutely terrible in every respect.
Oh no. Oh no, here comes Eisenberg. He's coming to another meeting. He's going to complain about the color of his neighbor's fence again. Oh.
I used to work for an old folks home, and one of my like residents, whenever we got to dinner, he always found a way to somehow get his food for free. Like, I was like felt bad for the servers. I was like, I'm sorry, it's fine. So yeah, he'd always like kind of complain about something small and then would always get his food for free. But to be fair, his food was always free. So I was like, well, I don't know, like
wait, was
you're
it
getting free food?
Was it free to begin with because it was part of the service?
No, it wasn't free to begin with. He was supposed to pay for it, but he'd find something to complain about or not like, and they could just never fix it. And I think after a while, you just kind of like wear the server down. So they're like, whatever, it's like a $12.99 fettuccine Alfredo. Like, just take it, sir.
I wonder if like a
corporation walks in and they're just like, hand him a plate of food. Go ahead.
But it's like, and then it's me and like a bunch of senior citizens, and I was like 21. I was like, I don't know, sorry. Like, secretly pay for like,
and you're like thinking he's legitimately upset.
And I know he wasn't. He just liked getting free food. I'd have to be like, oh, it's fine. You like it. It's good.
Everybody's got to have a hobby.
You put some Parmesan on it. Like,
imagine him doing it just even if he doesn't like the food, just to practice. It's like, I don't even want to eat this. I'm in it for the game.
Yeah. Or like returning food at grocery stores. I didn't even know you could do that at the time, but he would do it. Like he just, I don't even know.
Wait, if he returned the food, would he get his money back?
I guess
he partially eaten like a brick of cheese and
Actually, now I don't remember how that worked. I don't know, but I kind of think he just liked doing it. Like it was like not a lot going on. I tried to plan good activities for them, but obviously they weren't good enough, so we had to spice things up.
Yeah, no bingo is as much fun as try to intimidate people into giving me free food game.
It really wasn't.
Like either he thinks of himself as like a social justice warrior, or he's just like a super grifter on like the nittiest scale possible.
Definitely the latter.
Yeah.
It's a
I wonder if
fine
corporations are ever
line.
like, no, we're just not going to sell you any stock, like, or you know what I mean, like, because you know what, you're going to sue us. It's almost inevitable. Like,
yeah, like, wait a minute, I've seen your name a couple
I
of
know who
times.
you are.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not this guy again.
Yeah.
He walks into the Olive Garden and they're like, "Take our breadsticks and go."
So did Eisenberg? I mean, did people look at him and say, "Well, this guy again," or was he actually, was he taken seriously? And in other words, what he was doing? Was it? Did people agree with it? Was it agreeable?
You kind of have to read between the lines. The indication is that the original court didn't think very much of Mr. Eisenberg and was kind of they say something to the effect of the court which kind of looked at him and was like, just get out of here with your noise. But the Second Circuit, they go into great detail. But it's kind of interesting to think, if it was all of the minority shareholders that all got their voting rights diluted, why is that not a derivative claim anyway? Like, why is this just some people but not others? If the issue is the merger itself dilutes everybody's voting rights, then why is it not a derivative
Plus,
claim?
couldn't he like pal up with his other 5%ers and be like,
Yeah.
hey, this sucks.
Is it sort of like, I mean, it's like the way that you could have like a class action suit, there's like named plaintiffs, like, I don't know, like, it's sort of like, at what point does it like become automatically like by association? Like, I guess it's also the same though when you're like on an airplane and it gets delayed and you get a voucher, even though you're pursuing a voucher, everybody deserves a voucher, but you only care about getting yours. I don't know.
Oh, that is such a great analogy for exactly what's going on here. It's like I want I want everyone to get, everyone deserves a free flight voucher. But by the way, Pete Buttigieg tweeted, if your flight's delayed and they offer you miles, don't take them. You're entitled to money. I'm like, Buttigieg owning the airlines. He's like, you're entitled. Don't take it. It's like, he's like, it's like pennies on the dollar. Don't take it.
I saw that tweet. It was great.
I was like, whoa, dude, Mayor Pete stepping up to American Airlines.
Yeah, I heard Delta was giving out like $10,000 at one point.
Oh yeah, it's statutory. It's pretty big.
So what ended up happening to his case?
Oh, Eisenberg? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Oh, hold on. We're just gonna put a little edit point in here. Let me see. Nope, I don't know. I don't know what happened when it got sent back down.
Okay.
It might be in the book here somewhere, but I didn't read it.
Okay.
Deeply unsatisfying. Also kind of irrelevant. It's like the whole merger was approved with a 2/3 majority. He has less than 5%. So I don't know what he thinks he's going to accomplish, fighting this merger that's clearly got some other purpose.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me he just didn't want to pay that fee and then see where it went.
Yeah, it seemed to me like maybe he got tired of blowing up the old folks' home and getting himself free fettuccine Alfredo. And it's like, I'm gonna get.
He's trying to set precedent.
Exactly. He's trying to send a message because if he did it once and he did it again, who knows what he's gonna do next? Say my voting rights are. You get these things and it's like, get a proxy statement in the mail. And it's like, which slate of electors do you want? I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I barely can vote in real elections.
Yeah.
So that's Eisenberg versus Flying Tiger Line. What do y'all think?
Wow.
Rightly decided, wrongly decided? Comments, thoughts?
I thought the plane crash was going to come back in. I don't know why.
Well, that's a problem.
Related.
I should have saved the trivia for the end. When you lead with the disappearing plane, and then you get into a 3-part merger, it's just
yeah, you really started us off on a high, and then it just
got slow and draggy.
So
That's actually one of
derivative.
the hallmarks of laying down the law, is we start on a high and we just get slowly draggier and draggier.
I mean, I think we're ragging on him a lot, but the way that company did, the whole renaming and creating different, it seemed like shell companies. I don't know. It just, whatever that was going on there, just didn't seem on the up and up.
No, that's what people do. They rebrand, like Kanye. Sometimes he's Kanye, sometimes he's Yeezy, sometimes he's Yay, sometimes he's Christ.
I guess my lingering question is sort of when this guy won, if let's say he did win, when it got sent back down, does that mean that when he got relief that literally everybody else also automatically also got whatever some sort of monetary relief for the fact that their shares were diluted? Or was it only he got any reward from this? I don't know. That's my...
Yeah, I mean, personally, I kind of suspect that he was trying to get bought off.
Oh yeah.
Because this is such an early procedural kind of fight, right? The whole fight is, this is at the very, very beginning of the lawsuit. What kind of a claim do you have here? It's not that he's proven anything's been done wrong. It's not that he's proven that he's been diluted. It's not that he's going to win. It's not that he's going to get any money or damage anything. All he's doing is he's screwing up a merger and slowing things down, and this whole fight is really, really at the beginning. So, it's entirely possible that the company's just buy his shares back, whatever he wants, buy it back.
Yeah.
And that may have been his objective all along. I don't know. I'm speculating, but that could be the old Cranks style. Look for companies that are going to, merge, and then, which takes us back full circle to the purpose of the statute, which was to stop people from doing these strike suits and holding up corporate transactions. I don't know what he stood to benefit by having more of a voting right of his 5%. Doesn't seem like much. It seems like it's just creating a problem for this complicated shell game and avoiding taxes and government regulation that is okay in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
Or 1961.
But other than the shareholders themselves, there's no government or body that would otherwise enforce these kind of rules, right? They can only police themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you would get into maybe the Securities and Exchange Commission if it was some kind of a securities violation, but potentially if there's some kind of a tax violation involved, but generally, corporate governance is typically an internal issue, and the voting rights and all that. It's like the HOA example. It's supposed to be a self-governing thing and only spill over to the courts in rare instances. All right. Well, when we get back, we're going to do some improv, and we're back.
Kristen, thank you so much for calling this HOA meeting on such short notice. Other members will be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, of course, I felt it was only too necessary. I don't know if you've all noticed the scourge of track lighting that has gone up all over the patios of this neighborhood, but it is absolutely ruinous.
Devastating.
Absolutely. In fact, Kelli is one of the main perpetrators. Said same track lighting patio situation. It is an eyesore, and it is strictly against the rules of the HOA.
Oh, here she comes now.
Yeah.
She's coming now. Hi, Kelli.
I thought we were just going to talk about the block party, the 4th of July block party. I didn't know this was specifically about my track lights.
Point of order. I believe that the floor has been yielded to me and that I have already raised properly the issue of track lighting, which means all other issues cannot be discussed.
Point of order. The chair has recognized herself. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I move to strike any notion about any other sort of party or event that might be happening.
I second.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I don't really know how to proceed here. How should I talk? Is there a methodology? I don't know how to strike.
Point of order. She is not addressing the head of the HOA in her statements. She seems to be speaking to the gallery, and she's supposed to be speaking to me.
I'm the only one here. I don't know who you're speaking to aside from Henry.
That's Mr. Eisenberg to you. Thank you.
Move to strike that last there from the record as doesn't matter how many people are here or not here.
I can't believe she called me by my first name. That's so
I did see that. That was really rude. That was very rude. Can we take a recess? Honestly, I don't know if we can proceed. That really tainted the entire proceeding, I think.
Well, maybe we can just overlook the lack of decorum and just forward.
This is what's ruining America. This is what's ruining this neighborhood. Overlook one thing, then what's next?
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I mean, I could just put in new bulbs if that would be helpful. Is it the temperature or the luminosity? I don't really mind changing the lights if it's going to be that big of a deal. I just don't want to come to any more of these meetings.
I'm afraid the violation was the fact you did not receive approval from the HOA before you installed said lighting. So you cannot undo the wrong by changing the lights.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's my bad. I didn't realize that was the thing that we did here in Shady Glen. But moving forward, I'll be sure to just give you guys a heads up on that, and might as well just do it now. I'm just going to go ahead and take the lights.
Oh no!
Just put it back to what they were, so we could just
it's not
move on.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that easy.
Just go back to what they were, and then we'll pretend like this never happened. I know I want
you would be compounding a tragedy with a tragedy should you or take down those lights without pre-approval. I can't even.
So
well, Brad and Misty, I just want to show you around this one neighborhood called Shady Glen this afternoon. I know we've been looking at houses all day, but this is a really it's a nice neighborhood. It's a gated community. I think you're going to really enjoy it. And let me just pull the Benz over here to the side of the road. This is at 411 Partridge Place here in Shady Glen. And you'll notice that this house is taupe. Most of the houses are taupe. And I believe we can just go in and look around. But if you want me to tell you about it or just let you look around, either way you like.
Maybe a little bit of both, my dude. That'd be great.
Absolutely. It's Brad, right? Brad.
Yeah, Brad. Yeah.
Brad. Yeah. Brad. Okay. And so you here and the missus, you're looking to start a family, settle down. There's a park just down the street. The current owners have had the property for 4.5 years. And there was a small fire in the kitchen, so it's been completely gutted and renewed. It's about 5% under market. I expect this one's going to go in a bidding war. Just between us, I think it's going to go over. But we can talk about that later after we leave the property. And let's see. There's Shady Glen does have an HOA, very active, maintaining community standards. The HOA fees are minimal, only $700 a month. There's a shared pool gated area with a water slide that's allowed to be used on Tuesdays. You're allowed to run the sprinklers every third Thursday. And you can paint your color sand, taupe, or eggshell. As you can see, all the houses are sand, taupe, or eggshell. What else can I tell you about this? It's a lovely 3-bedroom, but only 2 bedrooms are upstairs. You have to use them as a bedroom. You can't use them as an office. Yeah. Anything else I can tell you about this house 411 Partridge?
Honey, we don't want to have to pay the $700 to be able to make decisions in our own home here.
I hear that. Let me ask the missus, sir, if you don't mind. You thinking about having a family, having the kids over, running a van, a carpool, soccer, that kind of thing? Let me tell you why Shady Glen, that $700 is money well spent. You're going to go to a batting cages. That's money you're going to spend anyway. You're going to go out to dinner from time to time. That's money you're going to spend anyway. Instead, you can run on down to the club and get free nachos on Thursdays. You can send the kids down to the park, let them, kick the tetherball around.
Honey?
She's a quiet one. She's a quiet one. I know sometimes the ladies, they're a little turned off by the monologuing. I tend to monologue. I know we've been working with each other with a few houses. I showed you the Dusty Shack down on First Street, and I showed you the tear down fixer upper over on Main Street. This one's just a little bit more money, and I think you're gonna really find it's money well spent.
She's just really upset right now because you just overwhelmed her with this. I don't think she can't handle. Look at her; she's turning beet red. Beet red. The 700.
Well, lucky for us, Shady Glen has its own paramedic and police department. We'll just call the paramedic and police department right over here. It's a combination to save costs. But it's probably, I think she's maybe choking. I don't know any kind of first aid or other sort of, that sort of thing. But let me just flag down the security guard over here. Excuse me, ma'am. We seem to have a situation here.
No, she's fine. We don't have.
Yeah. What seems to be the problem over here, sir?
Well, I'm just a real estate agent. I have no knowledge of anything whatsoever.
Sir,
but
being a real estate agent is not an emergency. I've already told you.
I realize that we've spoken a few times.
My wife is just very reserved. Okay, this is a lot for her right now.
Having a passive wife is not an emergency, sir. Okay.
She's gonna speak.
I was just wondering, only on Thursday or Tuesdays you could use the water slide?
Water slide's Tuesday. Yep. The batting cages are Thursdays between 1 and 2:30.
You're doing a good job, baby. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
And you said taupe, stone, and pebble?
No. Stone and pebble, those were voted out by the last board.
Oh.
They were considered too hard.
Where's stone and pebble? Where do you see stone and pebble?
It's taupe. It's
Drive my weapon.
It's desert sand.
My
and it's
weapon is
eggshell.
out.
Oh my God!
Show me the stone.
Oh my God!
Wow,
Oh my God.
I am not going to make this sale.
Okay.
All right, just stick to the palate if you know what's good for you, and don't make me come over here again.
Yes, sir. Oh my
It's ma'am.
God. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
You twinky little twerp.
Might I just commend you, security officer Kelly, because surprise, we were actually we were testing you, making sure that you were enforcing the HOA rules properly, and you did a good job.
Yeah.
It's hard being undercover secret enforcers of esoteric HOA bylaws, but somebody's got to do it.
Wait a minute. You two people made me drive around all afternoon. I showed you 12 houses and 17 comps, and you're just here to test the HOA rules? This is ridiculous. Oh, I'm sorry. I realize you're not supposed to raise your voice in Shady Glen. I'm so sorry.
We are social justice crusaders, and we are here to make sure that we have to be believable. Otherwise, how do we know what kind of information you might throw at us? You almost tried to convince me that stone was an acceptable color.
Mark him down.
Okay, number one, I'm very aware of the incident of 2003 involving the stone, and that's not an incident that I expect to repeat. Number two,
everybody was talking about that. Everybody.
Oh God, I will quote the bylaw that I personally saw passed after the stone incident, which is we don't speak about stone. We don't say the word stone. If you need to use a synonym for stone, you may use the term slate. That's it.
Yeah, also, if someone says stone one more time, I'm going to start firing. I can't help it. It's just how I was trained. I'm triggered. 2003. It was a tough year for us guards. For us guards here at ADP.
It's okay, Larry. You look a little tense.
My name is Kelly.
Kelly, why don't you go ahead and take a special trip down the water?
I'm gonna shoot this guy for real.
All right. You know what? This has not been a good use of time for me as a real estate agent. I've spent my entire afternoon driving around imposters. When I could have been, showing showing mid-century fixers-uppers to serious buyers. So number one, I'm pretty upset. Number two, I'm a little peeved. And number three, I'm tempted to say the S word, and you know it's not Slate. I'm tempted to say that just to kind of put it in your face, Brad and Misty.
I am frankly appalled at your selfishness. It's all about you, okay? Oh, you're so aggrieved just because you had to spend some time, maybe 13 other houses showing us around. We are fighting for everyone here, for everyone's rights, and that includes maybe sometimes yours.
And by the way, what's with all the American flags hanging out of people's houses? We saw at least 3. That's completely against the bylaws here.
That I know. Whenever I show people, Shady Glen, I say, you only hang the Shady Glen sign out, and you're not allowed to change the flag to say Shitty Glen. It's got to say Shady Glen.
Okay. I'm sorry. Did you just say what I think you? I'm sorry.
I mean, Sam. Right now, I'm not trying to sell anything because clearly I'm not going to sell anything today. I'm just simply reenacting what I say in other situations that are similar, which is that I inform people they're not allowed to refer to Shady Glen as Shitty Glen. That's all. But prospective buyers. How do you think I got an exclusive license to sell property in Shady Glen? Is it knowing the information that you're not allowed to tell people, you're not allowed to refer to it as Shitty Glen?
Why is he talking like this?
There's never been a time where I have wanted for free speech to be less vigorously protected than I do right now. Yeah.
So anyways, it's just like really hard being a real estate agent in the Valley because people are always just like, oh my God, like you drive a BMW, like your face is on Frisbees, like your life is so easy. But like people don't realize that it's really, really hard because sometimes clients are just really, really mean.
Really mean. I completely, girl, Betty, I completely agree with that shit. For real.
Which is why I'm so glad that I was able to kind of form this little real estate agent book club. So that way, we could just kind of like talk and discuss about our feelings because like no one, if you're not in it, you don't get it,
Yeah. Yes. And then we can just talk about our real estate magazines at the same time that we're.
Yeah. We could talk about listings. We could talk about like, how far away from the curb to put your signs. We can talk about like, I don't know, like lights.
Photography, headshot photography is really important. I got a whole book on headshot photography I've been wanting us to talk about for a long time.
Personally, I would like us to circle back to Frisbees for a second because I have so much trouble sourcing out somebody who's going to give me a Frisbee that's like decently thick. You know what I mean? They're so flimsy.
They're so flimsy, and frankly, the last ones I got made my tits look tiny.
Oh my God.
Hi, trying to sell houses here, okay? Not here to make friends. So.
Oh my God, I could die right now.
How many times I've had to tell them, I'm like, just pretend that they're the focus of the shot. And they're like, no, it's your face. And I'm like, no, it's really not my face.
Yeah, it's like, hello, my chest is down here. Okay, so let's bring the camera down.
Yeah. Ice cubes, please. Thank you. Jesus. Now, let's get back to the mean. So, I mean, part of this is us just griping about the mean shit that they're all saying,
oh my God.
Is this a 3-2? I mean,
yeah, I really need a half bath. My dog needs its own bathroom. It's like, I don't care. Piss outside. I mean, obviously I don't say that.
I hate the assumption that we're supposed to be people persons, as if I like people. No, I just like putting people in houses and then never seeing them again.
Yeah, I got into this business because I love buildings.
Do you?
I love homes. Yeah, I mean, I love homes. I love walls. I love roofs. I love doors.
Stairs.
Oh. I think I'm a little bit more advanced because I love a palace.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because she sold something in the Bird Streets one time. She's like, I love a palace.
Yeah, she's been talking about that shit for like a month. Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
it's like,
I'm
okay.
sorry. When one of you guys graduates to a listing of that caliber, then you can reproach me for my own like perfectly acceptable celebration of my own achievement. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Gloria, you're the queen. We're just.
Yeah, you're the queen. You didn't sleep with the broker or anything. Just kidding, you didn't. Maybe. I don't know. Have you seen her frisbees? They're awful. But yeah, I'm sure you did it on your own.
Oh my God, you're sassy today, Betty. Jesus.
Wow, the clouds are really out, I see. It's
Wow.
probably because you had like -2 sales last month, and like I know that I took like 3 of your clients.
Oh.
What'd you say?
You heard me.
Which ones? Was it Rebecca?
Yeah, it was Rebecca. It was
Was
Brad.
it Rebecca Romaine? Was it Rebecca Romaine and that husband of hers, Jerry O'Connell? Was it them?
They divorced, but that's
They
fine.
probably divorced because you're their agent now. So how do you feel about that? You just made America's happiest couple.
This is getting very personal.
Divorced.
I thought we were
Oh.
here to talk about buildings, and now I feel like I'm just like, am I being attacked? This is like why it's so hard to be a real estate
You
agent.
brought it up.
Always being attacked.
Lady,
You brought it up.
Lady, this is what they're doing to us, okay?
You're right.
They're these mean ass clients with all their ridiculous requests are making us eat at each other's throats, okay?
How am I going to find a vineyard on the attached property in the middle of the city? It's like, it's not a reasonable request.
Shh. It's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. Let's all just bring it together, okay? Let's bring a group hug in, okay? Group hug.
Oh, this is a great time for us to take that photo for the local the San Gabriel Valley Outlook. We need to send a meeting photo for our gathering.
Jesse's here.
So let's do that right now. We'll just do a quick selfie. Okay.
Oh God.
Everybody
Okay.
up. Perky.
Perky.
Everybody up. Cheery.
Okay.
Everybody say
Okay.
money. Money.
I'm not ready yet. I gotta adjust the girls.
All right. We'll retake. Just here. Let me give you a little lift. Okay. Ready? Okay. All right. Let's all say money. Money. Oh yeah. We're gonna get the next ensemble sitcom cast that's all looking for houses at the same time.
Oh my God. That would be my dream.
Yeah. The next ensemble sitcom, big hit.
Mhm.
They're all gonna need houses at the same time. We'll all refer each other.
So I have my my Brazilian butt lift surgery scheduled for next Monday. Yeah, so like now I can start doing the side poses for those things,
So good. For
I
the
don't know
for
how
the
to tell you
longer
this,
signs.
but BBLs are like out. Do you not?
What?
Do you like not go on the internet ever, or
Really?
everyone's getting them removed now? So it's like, well, I guess maybe that's why you're getting it now, because you just like to do things.
And also because it's like probably cheaper now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is cheaper now.
Did you get it on Groupon? Because I think I saw that one.
I kind of did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you should do it because it's like your proportions are so off that it's like maybe it would bring some symmetry, so you'd stop like falling over all the time.
Okay, that was a little bit direct.
But you
okay.
should know that it's like so 4 years ago.
Okay.
We are so kind to each other. Like if we didn't have each other to like tell each other like when we were doing something wrong, like I don't know if anybody else ever would.
No.
Yeah, I feel that. If I didn't have the three of you, nobody would tell me that my photos were so outdated and that I look like Burt Reynolds and that's not
You
selling
do.
any houses. I know. And you keep sending me to these photographers who take all these really glossed out photos that still somehow trap me in the late 1970s. I so appreciate all of you.
So helpful that we tell each other, like, because like that photo that most recent shoot you did was just hideous. You looked like, I mean, it looked like
A horror show.
yeah, terrible.
Yeah, I've gotten
Like people
comparisons.
asked me if I knew you, and I had to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was appreciative at first when people were like, "Is that Regis Philbin?" And I was like, "No, just me, just Donnie." But
Yeah.
She just has a really strong jaw.
It's just it's a little dated, but yeah, strong jaw.
People are like,
Yeah.
"Do you know Donnie?" And I'm like, "Oh no, 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 no. I do not associate with that person at all."
Although it did get me a listing in Pacoima. I mean, Pacoima adjacent, but it was near Pacoima. It's a
Okay.
a little duplex. Um,
Oh my
it's not
God.
much. It's not you know, it's not Chris Brown's house, but it, it'll feed my cat for a month.
Yeah, that's so sweet. That's nice. Yeah, that's great. Um, maybe I'll just maybe I'll just get I don't know my maybe I'll just get my lips done then. Is that okay? My lips I can maybe because they're
That's
getting a little
sweet.
thin. No?
Sweetie, we can't decide these things for you, okay? It's just like a little pathetic. So it's like, do it, don't do it. Like, we don't know.
Okay.
Just like look good, you know? Like, is it that hard to just like follow, like,
Yeah. Can you
feel
like
good
just
with that?
be attractive? Like, I
Mhm.
don't get it.
Like,
Okay.
I
be
think the main thing is that we
successful.
have to do something and then fail and get criticized for it. That's what it is. It's not right. That's support. That's what friendship is.
I guess that's what we offer each other because we do all fail
And then
Well,
we all criticize each other.
and then we all criticize each other.
And that's how we know that we love each other.
that's how
Right.
you know exactly. Exactly. It's kind of like with Betty, right? She looks like she has sporks for feet. You're like a spork toe. Am I right, Betty? A little blonde angel.
A spork toe?
Yeah.
Um,
You look like you have a spork for a toe.
okay. Well, if you're just gonna be bitter, then whatever. But like, I have amazing feet, so it's fine. But also, I don't even know what a spork is because I don't eat at Taco Bell every day like you do with your flat ass.
I
You'd
don't
think
eat
you'd
it.
have a bigger ass with all the Doritos Locos tacos you crunch away on all day. Don't think I don't see that orange powder all over your 3 Series seat that I know is a lease. But yeah, go ahead and talk to me about my spork toe.
This feels like family. It feels
Yeah.
like family.
When you're here, you're family.
That's right. That's what
Yeah.
it feels
Oh,
like.
eating alone. I was eating alone. But I just love those hot sauce packets, because they're free and you can just like take them at home. You can make your own little Mexican food. It's good. Whatever. Stop judging me. Stop. Well, I mean, obviously, we have to, we need to make sure that we're looking good, ladies. I mean, what's on your plastic surgical docket? Because it doesn't sound like you're doing anything to change your shit.
I've been cryogenically freezing myself every night. Just a little bit, like in dribbles.
In Okay. Oh, wow. Oh,
Yep.
These are not my eyebrows. These are tattoos.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even notice.
how are you gonna? She just said she's cryogenically freezing or whatever, and you're talking about eyebrows?
Priorities.
I mean, if I had her level of clientele, I'd be cryogenically freezing too.
I just got a listing in Beverly Hills Post Office.
No.
Oh.
Oh my God. Wow.
I know.
I need
I
I,
know.
I need your doctor. I don't I need your doctor. I need to know who your doctor is.
No.
Why?
You cannot legally compel me to tell you. I won't tell you.
Well, I'll just follow you like Betty followed me to Taco Bell. Betty.
I didn't have to follow you. I just sat in your car one time and the smell punched me in the face.
So the book this month was so interesting. Am I right?
It was so good.
It really was good. It
I mean,
really
the
was
cover
good.
was great. It looked really good on the coffee tables and all the houses that I
Mm-hmm.
had like whatever that term is. First set it, I like made it nice, and then I put
Mm-hmm.
that book on the table, and then
The title was, what was it? Was it the making of? Oh, I can't. What was the making of
it's a tricky word.
Bridge?
I'm opening up a bottle of wine. Who wants
Bri-
some?
Bridge on the River Kwai.
Right.
Making
I
a bridge in the
remember.
River Kwai.
Thank you so much for saying that, because I didn't want to be the first to say it, because I was scared. But
Yeah.
I saw
I
the
read the
movie.
entire cover and the back.
Yeah. I
Did you know it was a movie?
I saw the movie. I didn't see the movie. I looked at the blurb on Amazon, and that felt like enough.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, apparently it was a movie.
I thought maybe it was like the Bridges of Madison County, but it like didn't sound like that at all.
Oh my God, that's
I thought it was like Jamiroquai, so I just bought their album.
oh, such a good album.
And I thought we were doing something a little bit more esoteric this meeting.
I actually also thought it was Jamiroquai, but I just bought the hat, the Jamiroquai hat. Like the top hat. It's like the oversized top hat.
I thought he was known for like a furry Kangol from his Virtual Insanity video.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of someone else then.
It's like a bucket.
Personally, it's before my time.
Oh my.
What?
Who is
Nope.
Jamiroquai even? Is that one of those oldies but goodies?
Okay, well, you are the youngest one here. Okay, we're not.
I am cryogenically freezing myself, and so technically I am not any older because I have frozen myself in time for a cumulative amount of nights where I am no longer, that it counts. Yep, nope. I am 22.
Honestly, that's true. And then when she dies, she'll just technically be reborn.
That's right.
I think that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure.
We take you to the year 2032. Grog, get in here. It's time to open the cryogenic chamber and find out what's been stored here for 300 years.
Oh, man. Dr. Dave, this is it. We've been waiting so long to open this thing up.
Yes, Grog, we've been waiting for so long to open this up. I'll just find out what it is.
I think since we've been working so hard towards this moment, we should open it together.
Let's open it together.
Wait, let's hold hands.
Oh, this is going a different direction, isn't it?
No, I mean just.
Is it friends or is it more than friends?
Just.
This is the shareholder speaking. Can you guys please just hurry up and open the crate?
Oh,
We don't have all day.
sorry, Grog. Oh,
This is.
just hold that thought. Yes, I'm gonna just lift this up, and it's a female form, and it looks like it's a real estate agent.
She's gonna speak.
She's
Oh my God. Is this what they've been keeping me in? I mean, what is this, like 80 square feet? Jeez.
and scene.
I don't know square feet at all, so that might be really big.
80 square feet.
That's pretty big, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole spaceship is 80 square feet. Who knows?
Honestly, I'll be honest. I didn't know when you said it. I was like, yeah, that's probably about right.
80 square feet probably seems more reasonable, but
Doesn't matter if it's factually right. The attitude was perfect.
no.
Well, that's been laying down the law. Before we go, I'd just like to give my guests a chance to do a little shameless self-promotion. We'll start with Henry. What can people expect to see from you, and where can they find you on the internet?
You can stalk me at on Instagram as Henry the David. I have some programmed next week, but it probably be too late when you hear that.
If it's next week, yeah, probably. But look for him on the internet. Maybe when you listen to this, it'll be next week at that future time as well.
Yeah, hell.
How about you, Kelly? Where can people find you, and what's coming soon from you?
You can also find me on the internet, Instagram, Twitter, at Kelli Shea. I also have a little weekly newsletter that I write, kellishay.substack.com. I was writing it weekly, and maybe in 300 years when you post this episode, I'll be back on that cadence again. I took a brief hiatus because I got knocked up
Ah.
and then I felt really sick and I was like, nothing's creative, everything sucks. But now I feel better. Anyway, so I'll get back to it is what I'm saying. So yeah, you can find me there.
All right, can you spell Kelly Shea just for the
Oh
is it
yeah.
audio
Honestly,
medium?
you guys should just guess and then just see what happens, and I'll see how big my internet presence is. But if not, it's Kellishea.
All right, thank you, Kelly. And Kristen,
Yes.
where can people find you? What's coming up from you?
So I don't have an Instagram, which is something I maybe will change at one point, but I am on Facebook. But also, I think one thing I'm proud of that is on the internet that's easy to find is if you Google my name and the term downward slope. It's a story I did for this storytelling thing here in Austin, Testify, that people really like because it's really funny. So I recommend it because I have another one coming up. Maybe it'll drum up some interest in that. Who knows? It's in August, the next one.
Kristen Drenning, Downward Slope. Google it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's legal adventure. And I want to thank you for joining me, your captain, on this earmark edition of Laying Down the Law. I'd like to thank my crew, Henry, Kelly, and Kristen, for joining me on this journey to the great unknown.
Yay!